Hi everybody, Alex Pro here from Expert Forex, and this is a recording of the webinar which we held on the 7th of April. And this particular webinar was held between the open of the UK market and the US market, and there was quite a good attendance at this particular webinar. It seems to be a suitable time for a lot of traders to attend. And during this webinar, we looked at the general market analysis and transaction identification. In fact, I did enter a live deal, and you can look at the reasons for that entry. Also, I introduced a new chart layout, which is a lot better for the recordings of these videos. The charts are, I think, a lot clearer. Then we addressed the question of when the market is returning to tradability and how to tell when it's ready to trade, and it is almost there right now. We also looked at multiple moving average trending signals, and we discussed the EURAUD as a super volatility currency that can move 200 pips quite easily within one candle. Then we also discussed currency crosses from different time zones, how, for instance, the Euro Oz compares to the Euro Pound, which is in the same time zone. So I hope you enjoy this recording. Hi everybody, Alex here from Expert Forex. It's 10 o'clock in the evening here in Australia. The UK market has opened. The US market will open in a few hours' time, and it looks like a really good time to have a webinar, just judging by the number of people in the webinar today compared to other webinars that I've held. So I think this is probably the most popular time to have webinars. I'll start gravitating the webinar times towards this kind of time. Yeah, any feedback that you can give to me in terms of how suitable this time is to yourself, although you're in the webinar. You can tell me if it's the best time or whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning where you are. But I think this time is actually a very suitable time for everybody except the guys in Singapore. No, I'm not quite sure, but we'll have a look at that. As always, if you have any questions, comments, and remarks, please shoot them through the chat facility, and I'm happy to answer them and deal with them. Okay, so let's start with the analysis of the market today. Again, I just want to go through the 360-degree indicator. There's a lot of indicators that you can use here. I think there are 8 of them. I only use the RSI and the ADX, and the RSI gives you the overbought and oversold readings, and the ADX gives you the trendiness of the currency. If it's over 30, if that reading is over 30, it's saying that the currency is in a trending mode. It might not still be trending, but it is a trending mode. And so if we read that first line up there, we see the Euro's reading for the ADX is 51, which means it's actually trending quite strongly. And the Euro for the RSI is 88. So if we went to the Euro's chart, we should see candles going up in a trending way. So let's go and have a look at whether that is in fact so. And we'll go to the 4-hour. And the Euro. So I'll just increase the size of the Euro, and there we go. There we have blue candles shooting up, the RSI shooting up. So that's a confirmation of that reading. Now, to a certain degree, we don't need those readings, because we can just look at the charts themselves, and we can see that the Euro is in a trending mode. But it's just nice having those readings. Also, they give you an overview of the whole market, so you can actually very quickly see which currencies are trending and which ones are going sideways, and it gives you a view. And you can see the franc. The franc is almost a mirror image of the euro, and you can see the franc is oversold, but it is trending. So there they are. The Oz is trending at the moment upwards. Again, you could just read that from these readings, and so on. So to a large degree, a lot of what's going on these schedules can be seen directly in the charts. Just to have a look at what's going on in the market overall, the Aussie has actually strengthened quite a lot over the last week and over the last day, and they've had an interest rate announcement, which basically they just kept interest rates the same. I'm not quite sure why the Aussie is strengthening so strongly, and it's obviously the strongest one, and the losers are a whole bunch. The USD, the pound, and the yen are the losers overall. Okay, so let's have a look at the charts in a little bit more detail. And I like looking at the RSI. Maybe today, let's just have a look at the multiple moving average charts. They give me a good idea of what's going on in the market. So just overall, the pound looks like it wants to break north. Not really very volatile at the moment. There's a definite trend, but as you can see, it's no definite trend there. It wants to go north. The Oz, as we've seen already, is in a trending mode going up. And the euro is also now breaking through and wanting to trend upwards. Now, just a little refinement of the multiple moving average technique is that you'll find that the close of the candle or the close of the bar is a good indication of what's going on in the market. So when the bars are closing above the fastest moving average, the fastest moving average there is that one, and it's a 3. So that's a 3 moving average, and the bars are closing above the 3 average. So that's an indication of a good trend. You know, there's lots of ways of looking at trending, and when it's below, then it's tending to go downward. So that's another way that you can sort of try and get your eyes to see trends, is that if the closes are happening above the moving average or fast moving average, I'm talking about a 3 moving average, that's an indication that there's a trend going on. And if it's below, then it is. And if it's inconsistent, if it's above the one and below the next and above, then obviously it's in a sideways market. A lot of people battle to get definitions for sideways markets and trending markets. There's just another one you can put in your definition collection of trending markets. Let's have a look. Also, okay, so let's have a look at the, so we've got a trending Aussie, and what I've done, and I'm cheeky, and I'll show you why. I've actually put a trade in here to sell the Aussie when it reaches that point, because I reckon that's quite a good support area. It's battling to get there, and I'm going to actually sell that one, and that's just a cheeky trade. But let's just go through the rest of the moving averages. Get that back to size. Again, the franc is the mirror image of the euro, so it looks like it wants to go down. The CAD is going down, and the yen is going down. Now, remember when all of these are going down and all of those are going up, then there's an element of US dominance, and in fact, in this case, it's a US weakness. Because of weakness in the US, that's going up. That's a weak dollar. That's a weak dollar. That's a a weak dollar, and that's a weak dollar, and that's a weaker dollar. So that's just another. And here we have some indication that there's the yen dominance here, but these are all going up. So we've got up, up, up. So that's a sign of a weakening yen. The Euro Oz continues to go down, and it's trending nicely. And when these moving averages are all flaring out, in other words, they diverging, and in fact, this is nothing more than a MACD indicator, just seen in a different way. So you've got your diverging MAs, and then you've got your contracting one. That's where the MACD indicator gets named diverging, and I don't know if it's a contracting, but that's where that's basically what it does. So this is just another version of a MACD indicator. So when it's flaring out like that, it means that it wants to trend quite strongly, and that's another thing about these moving averages. But let's have a look at the actual charts in a little bit more detail. Again, we're just getting a feel of what's going on in the market at the moment. There's nothing, there are quite a few little trends that have started here. So let's go and have a look at the trends. And bear in mind that the US dollar is weakening, so we're going to see a few trends developing. Now, I've made a change to my charts here. You might have noticed, instead of having 12 charts in one go, I have 6 charts. So I've got two 4-hour sets of charts and 2 daily sets, and I think they display a lot better on the chart on the screen than the 12 ones that got a little bit too much detail in them. So what we have here is we have the euro. Unfortunately, this one's already gone. It's already got 2 candles into the trend. There was a very good signal, and this is almost a textbook signal that happened, and unfortunately this was between our last webinar and this webinar, but we had a support and resistance, a sort of bouncy area. We had a divergence and a trend line violation, a classical, absolutely classical trade, and there it goes. So if we were around maybe 6 hours earlier, we would have caught this particular, if this webinar was on right now, we would have caught that particular trade. Now, there are a few of them that's happened. The Oz is obviously one that's also exactly the same. We've got that, we've got the support at the bottom. And that's another good thing that's happening in the market. Suddenly, we can start seeing support and resistance building up in the market again, which is a good sign. And that's why I'm getting sort of starting to trade again, is I can start seeing some element of support and resistance in the market. And this is the one I've got a trade in. I've actually got a sell there at the top, and there's a very strange reason why I'm selling this one, and let's have a look at this. It's just that the RSI is at an extreme level, so I'm saying it can't go much further. I'm not saying it can't continue, but it will rest. It tends to go and then rest, go and rest, go and rest. So I'm saying it will go touch my entry, my sell entry, and then go down a little bit. And I've got a trailing stop of about 40 or 50 pips to protect me from it continuing. But I think that will be enough to give me, and I've got a 150 pip target and a 200 pip stop, and I've got a big stop because of the market that we're trading in. I'm just putting in bigger stops than normal. But so the main reason why I'm selling is that the RSI is at an extreme level at the moment, 92 and going. So we'll see if that one activates or not. It's pretty close to activating. All right, so let's have a look at if there's anything else that's interesting out here. Unfortunately, so that one's already broken for a buy, but I'm going for a sell already on that one. This one's already broken for a sell. Again, a classical setup. divergence trend line. And there she goes. And there's already two candles that have moved there. So, you know, if you want to climb on the bandwagon, you can still most probably do it. It's a little bit late. It's already gone extremely oversold on the RSI. The same thing here with the CAD. Also broken out of its consolidation over there, but it's already extremely oversold. So I'm not quite sure if those have got the go to go any further, but that certainly I'm happy about the trade that I've put on. So if we look at the other group that there is, and this is the Aussie yen, very similar shape to the Aussie, also completely oversold, overbought. In fact, this would most probably be a better sell because of the level being extreme. I mean, it's what is the actual reading? I'll just see if I can get the actual reading there. It's almost 95. Again, you can see it very seldom reaches that level. So I'm saying it's completely overbought, and it should take a rest and we'll go south from there. So there's another potential transaction. It was a buy, and the buy actually happened, and it has already run 170 pips. So I'm also saying it's going to get tired any moment and relax a bit there, or retrace. The euro yen. Again, there was a quite a nice trade earlier. What we now need to start looking at, but you can see the jaggedness of the RSI. It's very jagged, so it's not a great great currency to trade, although there are some nice moves that have happened there. This one, pound yen. Now, here's an example where there was a beautiful trend line. The break of the trend line should have resulted in a bit of a move down. It didn't. It just sort of fizzled out, and now it's going sideways. It could be a sign to trade the other way. When a good signal fails, it's always a sign to trade the other way. So that could be a potential buy. Wouldn't be a bad buy if it breaks that level of resistance. Although it broke that trend line, it looks like a very small move. But let's just go and have a look at what actually happened there. So there's the break of the trend line. Let's see how far it went. It actually went 120 pips. So, you know, although it looks like it didn't move at all, it did reach 120 pips. This one is, if this starts making a new high, you need to watch this one. This could go on forever. Pound yen can go on forever, so it can trend a long way. So there's a potential trade. Let's just have a look. Let's see if there's anything else there. There's the next major support resistance area. So there's a good 200 pips there for that to move. Yeah, 250 pips for that move there. Still too early to tell. Yeah, I would say that's too early to tell, most probably. All right, the Euro Oz. Again, the Euro Oz is a one of those that is very deceiving in terms of the distance that it travels. There was a nice breakout over there and a nice move down, and it's come to another support level. But that move there was 250 pips. So the Euro Oz is a fantastic currency. If you can master this cross, you can do pretty well. And I've done quite well with some of the moves on this particular currency because it moves so amazingly fast. If you look at that candle. It's a dangerous candle. I must admit, it's a danger. But that was a 480 pip candle. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying when this currency gets a trend, it moves very, very quickly. You know, I mean, you're looking at big candles there. That's a 370 pip candle. That's a 220 pip candle. So in 4 hours, it can move huge amounts of pips. Okay, no questions, comments. So I'll just carry on. All right, Euro Oz, Euro pound. Okay, no, I think I can't see anything else. I don't know if anybody can see anything that looks interesting, but the Aussie yen here again looks like a possible bounce there, although the pound looks like it wants to break out and go north. So they're very similar, but this technically has got more potential to go north than that particular one. Okay, let's see if there's any. Well, a lot of people have joined the. So this time of day definitely does seem to be a more suitable time for most people. I think there's most probably twice as many people in the room right now than in the other webinars. Okay, I think that's about it. I don't. We can look at the daily charts. There's nothing. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, you can see those trends developing in those long candles there. Let's have a look. Nothing much, but certainly a lot of reversals going on. Here's a red candle at the end of blue candles, red candles, blue candles. So there are a few reversals that are happening. Let's see the other group. Yeah, there we go. Some nice trends seem to be developing here. This particular, the Euro Oz, as I say, you know, that's one worth getting to know. That could easily still run 200 pips down. It's still got a bit of room there, but as you can see, the support and resistance is still not settling down. You can't really spot really good support and resistance yet. It's not clear at all. It's because of the spikiness of the candles. So that some of them are, although you can almost see the trades, it's more difficult to analyze them. Nothing very clear. The only, as I was saying, if the RSI, if you can't draw a trend line, use the 50 line, and there's certainly a buy signal that's happening right there. The Aussie yen, the buy signal's already happened, but as I say, it's already starting to reach over 14 bound. And yeah, you can also see the sort of resistance area it's reached. If it breaks through there, obviously it's going to run quite a lot. Okay, I think that's about it for tonight. Unfortunately, I can't see anything else worth mentioning. I've mentioned the closes above a fast moving average, always a good indication of trendiness. Remember that was this one, that example. I think all of these have exactly the same example, where if you have a fast moving average, the closes will be on a down trend. That's a good one. On a downtrend, they will be below the moving average, and on an uptrend, they'll be above the moving average. So that's a good guide for people that back to see trends. Okay, how long do you think it'll be for the market settles? Any guesses? Look, it's already starting. As I say, I'm starting to see support and resistance a little bit better in the market at the moment. But you can see. which currency did I use? The franc yen. Was it the franc yen? Must be in the daily. No, no, maybe. Oh no, it was the franc yen. Oh, that was the CAD yen. I'll just show you the franc yen. The franc yen in particular, you can see how messy the market is, and let's just make that a bit bigger. Oh, that's too big. All right, so if you look at these candles, this is before the coronavirus crisis happened. You can see those candles, and then suddenly they look at the spikes, just huge spikes and huge candles all over the show, and it's still going on. There's still huge spikes, huge spikes. So I don't think people realize how difficult it is to trade manual trades when you have spikes this size that'll just go and take your stop and come back, and that type of thing. So it's still a very unpredictable market. But certainly some of the currencies have calmed down. They're starting to show normal support and resistance. They showing some responsive setups, trading setups and things like that. But I don't know how long it's going to last, though. You know, they just need you to discover a vaccine that they can implement in the next 2 weeks, and the whole market will go crazy again. Or stock market will just go up, and you know, everything will just happen in reverse again. So, but certainly, I think the market is more tradable right now. And what's happening again, if we look at the daily chart, the dailies, we're seeing some nice trends. So if you like trend trading, now's a good time. I mean, look at those trends: trend. You know, they're getting smaller, but certainly there's been some really nice trends happening. Just look at those trends. So my advice at the moment would actually be, although I've taken against the trend trade right there, is if you see a trend, just try and join it. And the easiest way to join a trend is just to trade a new high or new low in the direction of a trend. That's one way. Or wait for a retracement, but a lot of people get caught with waiting too long, and the retracement doesn't happen, so they miss the whole trade as it is. So certainly the market is more trendy, and you need to just join the trends. You can see, for instance, the candles, this is the franc. I'm just taking a random example. They're all red candles, red, all the way down, then blue, all the way up. So the trends are actually quite good. Yeah, red, all the way down. So if there is a trend, it seems to be quite a good one, and you need to look out for them. And if you really, stuck for trades, go to the 1 hour. Now, the 1 hour I've still got on my old system, but just go down to the 1 hour. If you're looking if you're battling to see trades on the 4 hours, just go to the 1 hour and you'll see a few more trades. Yeah, so can't really answer that question. The market, I think the charts will tell you when the market's getting back to normal. And as some of the charts are already giving nice support and resistance, conventional support and resistance, rather than movements that are based on fear and greed. Let's have a look at AUD busy this time of the day. AUD busy this time of the day. Yeah. Let's have a look. Where is the AUD? Oh no, it's not on my normal list of Let's just see. You say it's busy this time of the day. Let's have a look. Yeah, there are a few. Here's the hourly chart. Yeah, there's quite a few movements, and you're right. The main liquidity for the Australia yen is in Asia, and it's moving quite a lot there. So that's quite interesting. I think that brings up a good point, is that if you look at the high volatility currencies overall in general, and this is most probably an exception to that, although I don't know what the volatility is. I haven't got my meter on this one. Let's see. ATR. Yeah, the volatility, although it looks quite big, volatility is actually quite low on the. Let me just put that on RSI. 120. Oh, that's not bad. 120 pips a day. That's the movement on the franc. I've skipped currencies. You were talking about the Aussie yen, not the franc yen. But there we go. So let's have a look at the Aussie yen, because I want to make a point about some of these crosses. Aussie yen. Now that should have lower volatility. So let's have a look. Templates. Very high. 280 pips a day. No, that's a week. These charts in the wrong sequence. Okay, that was no wonder I got a bit of a fright there. 180. Okay, that's pretty high. Aussie yen. And why I'm saying this is high is that if you look at the currencies, you'll find that the currencies that are from different time zones have higher volatility. So, for instance, the euro pound will have low volatility because they're from the same time zone. The euro franc will they're all from the same time zone. But if you start taking the euro Oz, they're from different time zones. The euros, the euros in Europe, and the Oz is in Asia. They suddenly have lots more volatility. So that's another guide towards volatility. If you've got currencies that are separated a lot, then their volatility will be high, because they have two sessions of volatility. They have the volatility in their own time zone, and then they have the volatility in the other time zone. So there's like double volatility that happens. Just out of interest, I wonder if the CAD what the CAD is. Because that's the same time zone. It's the US dollar and it's the Canadian dollar, so they're the same time zone. I'll just use the 4-hour, and the CAD must be here. Okay, so the CAD is 66, and that's quite low. Mind you, that's the 4-hour. Let's go and look at the daily. 133. That's, you see, all of them have actually picked up, but I'm actually surprised by that high volatility, because that argues against my is against my argument here, because all the others are actually a lot lower. The pound USD, that's higher. That's incredibly high. So there must be a lot happening on either the Canadian or in the US dollar that's causing that volatility. But in general, and I think maybe this is you can see this is an unusual shape for the currency. In general, currencies from the same time zone have lower volatilities, and ones that are split have higher ones. All right. I think thanks very much for your attendance, and thanks for those questions that came in. Yeah, the market is difficult, but it is improving. We are getting support and resistance trades happening. I think my trades must probably activate it there. So so we'll see what happens with that particular trade in the next webinar. And I don't think there are many others there. I think if you are with a trend trader, there are a few opportunities. There are a few currencies that have started trending, so have a look at them. From me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.